Yes, finally, there's a sold sign on my property. That sign right there. Now, I've put sold signs on other people's properties for years. Now, this is sitting on my house. And here's the first thing I had to admit. I really couldn't be the one to sell my own house. The listing when I tried it had gone stale. It was sitting for a long time. And I was too close to it. I was too emotionally invested, too attached to a number I had in my head to see what was clearly happening in the market. So you can't be your own dentist. That's kind of hard. You can't be your own lawyer. I've tried. And you can't be your own real estate agent, at least when it's not your own house. So guess what? I fired myself. David, you're fired. I handed it to a colleague of mine, Anna Oliver. We restaged it, gave it a fresh look, and it still took another 5 months to sell. The market wasn't waiting for new staging. It was telling me something that I didn't want to hear. What the market taught me about my own property is something I probably couldn't have told a client 6 months ago. If you're right now thinking about selling, you need to hear this.
It could really go either way.
Or it could go David's way. His house is up next.
The outside of the house is nothing special, but the inside, that's a wonderful open space. The big wow factor that everybody goes on about is the backyard. And then, just when they think, oh my God, this is incredible, then they walk into the studio and they go, oh my God, you got another living space back here? It's a great place to work. It's my last struggle, my last climb up the mountain. And then I think I can relax and put everything to rest and just coast.
When all settles and all the judging's complete, only one neighbor will be crowned top of the block.
Yeah, that was my house on that really fun television show called Top of the Block. But before this place was a triplex or triplex, before it was an investment, before 20 years of dinner parties, celebrations, lots of renovations, and memories that I couldn't have planned, it was something a lot simpler than that. This was the first house that I ever owned. I know what that sounds like, but if you live the way I had previously, moving around, never feeling quite settled, always traveling, and always renting, the idea of having your own walls, your own roof, a place that was generally yours, your own piece of dirt, that was a dream that I had carried around for a long time before I got here, before I got this place. So when I finally got here, I was so happy. I never really let go. This house became my anchor, my safe place, my haven. It gave me an emotional base that I never had before. So for 20 years, that's the longest I've ever called any place home. So when I tell you this, the sale was hard, I'm not talking about the market. I'm talking about letting go of something that mattered in a way that no spreadsheet can really capture. But here's a question that I kept asking myself. Is the desire to hold on stronger than the desire to move forward? The desire to pursue your next chapter, the desire to go after a dream? And that answer became no. So I sold. Let me talk to you about the market because I got this wrong. Yeah, I'm a realtor, amongst other things. And, I thought I understood cycles. I know how to read supply and demand, and I still misread the situation. I expected a well-maintained home, solid neighborhood, strong income generating units, a home that shows well to attract serious buyers and attract them quickly. However, that was not the market that I was selling into. Buyers came through who clearly loved the house, got lots of compliments. You could see it. The open houses were packed, and yet no offers. Everybody walked. Meanwhile, I was carrying, I made the mistake, 2 mortgages, oh baby, every month without a firm sale wasn't just frustrating, it was crushing, it was expensive. It was the kind of stress that gets into your DNA and affects every decision you're trying to make. It affects everything. So I'll say this plainly. This market right now, it's kind of brutal, and I don't think it's going to get better quickly. So I made a decision, and that was I wasn't going to wait for a recovery, which, is going to happen, but not in a time frame that's going to work for me. So I accepted less. And yeah, I would make that decision again. Here's the part that I'm actually still turning over in my head. My home is a legal triplex. The basement has 2 basement units that are generating $3,000 a month in passive income. They're legal, they're clean, they're well maintained, so it represents a lower carrying cost for any buyer from day one. I thought that was definitely my ace in the hole. I thought that was the biggest selling feature of the property. And I was wrong. Today's buyer, the buyer who bought my house, they don't want to be a landlord. They want nothing to do with it. It wasn't just that they didn't want the income. They don't value it. It's what they told me that they're actually going to do with the house. It's counterintuitive to everything. They're going to renovate the basement units. They're going to turn the whole thing back into a single family detached home. They're going to take a triplex and turn it into a single unit. So let that land for a second. They paid me less for the property because they didn't value the income units. And they're actually now going to spend more money on top of their purchase price to tear out perfectly functioning income generating units that were cash flowing, I'll say it again, $3,000 a month. They're paying a double penalty because they're going to eliminate something that was making money. They're going to spend money to eliminate a moneymaker. So that goes against everything that I believe, both as a homeowner and as a real estate investor. But here's what I need you to hear. If you're sitting on income property in Toronto right now, a duplex, triplex, multiplex, or even a basement suite, your buyer pool is smaller than you think. The buyers who understand investment properties, they're not in the market right now. There's no investor buyers out there. The income units actually weren't a selling feature. And the buyers that came to my home, they considered it a liability. So you have to price accordingly. Okay, stick with me because I've got 3 questions that would have changed how I handled the whole thing. And then I'll tell you what the plan looks like now moving forward because obviously it's changed and perhaps it'll be better. You know, a lot of people always say, well, just wait for the market to come back. And I understand that strategy, but waiting is not free. It has a price. So carrying costs don't pause while you're hoping. And life on the other side of your sale, for me, that's Prince Edward County, a boat, and a completely different lifestyle. Then that doesn't happen until you actually move. Every month in a holding pattern is a month of your life spent waiting. So at my age, I'm not casual about waiting anymore. I don't have time to wait. So before you decide to hold, answer 3 questions and answer these questions honestly. 1, what is the actual cost of waiting? Not the theoretical upside, the real monthly number, plus the stress, plus the life you're not living. Write that down. 2, what does selling actually unlock? If what's on the other side is real, tangible, and meaningful, that belongs in the equation. Your home is not the destination, it's the vehicle. 3, can you afford to be wrong? If the market stays flat or drops further for 2 more years, financially and emotionally, can you handle that? If the answer is maybe not, well, there's your answer. I asked myself all 3 of these questions. The answers aren't comfortable, and they were clear. I'm going to be straight with you about where the numbers actually landed because honesty, well, that's better than a tidy story. So I didn't end up with go out and buy a boat tomorrow money and, baller lifestyle. The market didn't cooperate. I accepted less, and the outcome, it's real. So here's what I actually have, and it's still pretty good. I'll have fully paid off the property in Prince Edward County, and I can improve that and cash flow it. And I have a plan. I'm going to spend this summer doing exactly that, improving that Prince Edward County property, hands-on, of course, putting in my own sweat equity and then cash flowing it and using what I built there to fund the next chapter. It's not going to be the fastest road. It's not going to be as fast as I wanted, but it's the real road. And honestly, I think it'll be a better story because it's earned. So the boat for me is still happening. The sailing piano adventure, it's always been my number 1 goal. And it's still very much in motion. It's just on a timeline that respects where things actually landed. It reflects the market. So I'd rather build it right. So there you go. That's the whole truth of it. It's not the tidy version, not as tidy as what I was hoping for. It's the real version. I found out that this triplex, the renovation, actually hurt my price, and the market I thought I knew had moved on without me. But I'm not telling you the story because of the sale of this house. I'm telling you the story because of what comes next. There's a moment, and if you're watching this, where you might already feel it, where you look around at the life you've built and you ask yourself this question: is this still what I want? Is this what feels right for me? The answer that I had was honest, and I want something different. Something that's more legacy-driven, more intentional, more alive. So I have the place in Prince Edward County. I'm going to make it turn it into a property that pays its own way. And of course, my prime objective is the sailing piano. So I'm not waiting for the perfect market. You can't game the market. I'm not waiting for the perfect number. I'm going to move on to the next chapter right now with what I have. So the market told me what my house is worth. Arguing with that would have cost me something money can't fix. You can't buy time. And so at this stage of life, that time becomes even more precious. So if you are having this conversation with yourself right now, I put together this great little guide called the GTA Downsizer's Exit Plan. Maybe you want to call it the GTA Downsizer's Dream Plan. It's the starting point I wish I had had earlier. If this story resonates with you, subscribe, because the next chapter of this one is coming, and it's going to be, obviously, a lot more interesting. I hope to see you join me.